Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Tuesday, February 20th, 2024, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $, ORION NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got NHL action this Tuesday afternoon. The New Jersey Devils versus the Washington Capitals. Puck drop is going to be here momentarily in just a minute or two. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. And we already got some donos right out of the gate, which I appreciate very much. Odin Sun with a 50 to make sure that we start off the stream on a very good note. I appreciate you very, very much. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang, $50 dono to get the stream started off on a good note. And I appreciate you very, very much. Let's go, baby. And I hit you with the Jack Hughes on the left. And we got Alexander Ovechkin on the right with the thumb. Thank you so much. And since you did what you did, then on top of that, Megan decided to come in. I'm not sure if this was an error that she only wanted to do 120 or possibly 2, but we'll see what happens when she comes into the room. But I do appreciate you very, very much. A $20 dono from Megan, Aussie 12 in the building. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. I appreciate you. And for the second 20, thank you so much. I appreciate you. We're already at 90 before the matchup even started, so we only need 10 more to go to hit the first goal. This is one of the best starts that we've had to a stream before the stream started in a minute. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Thank you so much to the two of you. Odin Sun with a 50, Megan with a 20, and Megan with another 20. Daniel, birthday today. What's good, bro? Happy birthday to you, Daniel. Happy birthday. How old are you today? Aiden in the building. Let's go, Devils. What's good? How are you? Sarah in the building. Let's go. Odin Sun. Big, huge dono to get it started. Much appreciated, and we have to go through kind of the ups and the downs, being a streamer. It's not all peaches and cream. There's sometimes a lot of work gets done. And at the end of the day, maybe you don't feel that maybe you got what you wanted, with likes, subs, donos, shares, and all of the above. But what I do know is that I'm always going to be consistent. I'm always going to be real. I'm always going to be genuine. And I got the best fans on planet Earth. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Already hitting 90 already. Thank you so much. Smash that like button. No worries. The 20 and the 20, was the second 20 an error, or did you purposely do 20 and 20? I just wanted to make sure there, because sometimes I know when people donate, if it's the same amount back to back, sometimes it ends up being something where maybe YouTube froze or something, the internet froze, and then you did another one. But I'm not sure if you ended up doing 2 on purpose. I assume you did, but I just wanted to, double check with you. Let me know what you want to do for photos, Odin Sun, as well as the Aussie 12. I love the two of you very, very much. And no worries. No worries. You always go above and beyond, and you are a GOAT, just like Odin Sun, and we appreciate you very, very much. Thank you so much. Wow, 2 a.m.? Now 11 a.m. Wow, okay. Oh, okay. I was about to say it had to have been something from one of your video games that you were playing. Not an error. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right, well, let's go through some of the photos here. We'll get with Odin Sun. We'll start off with his, and let's go here. And if there's anything specific that he wants, I'll throw some Luke Hughes in, Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt. And then I'm not sure if you want some Sidney Crosby or some Kraken, but you let me know what you want, Megan, as well. And I got you. I appreciate you very much. Shout out to Odin with the 50. Shout out to Megan with the 40. I appreciate you guys very, very much. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday. Let's go. And I believe this is the 4th matchup. So the first 2 matchups were won by the Caps at New Jersey. And then New Jersey actually won game 3 on the road against the Caps. So they're trying to even it up 2-2, and kind of crazy that the road team has won every game in this matchup so far. Will that streak and that series continue? We will have to find out tonight. I had to hit you with a little Jesper Bratton there. Appreciate you, my guy. Anything specific that you're looking for? I mean, I got a couple things on standby here. And then if you have anything that you want to be able to have at any given point, you let me know. But, you know, we already know Sid the Kid is a GOAT. I'll just throw these up for now. And if there's anything else that you want to see throughout the stream, the two of you can let me know. I'll take care of both of you. Appreciate you. Let's go. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Good choices. Appreciate you. Release the Kraken, defend the deep. Tough loss yesterday. It was an OT 4-3. So that was definitely tough, but hopefully we'll be able to rebound from that. Appreciate you very, very much. We can get into some Call of Duty stuff if you want to have some of that on there too. I just got to make some room. Seriously. You know what I mean? Especially when it's a game that's like winnable. But again, things have not really, been in the Kraken's favor. We have a very favorable schedule, after the All-Star break, and our schedule was very difficult at the beginning of the season. Hence, a lot of the close games and the losses. But still, when we're after the All-Star break and you have these games that should be, I don't want to say 100%, we're going to get the dub, but they're definitely winnable. And then you fall a little bit short. Every loss like that adds up. I think the bright spot, obviously, is, with Decord and with Grew, we feel like we have two healthy goalies that can, get it done. But, what about the power plays? What about the face-offs won? What about the better defense for our goalies so we don't put them in a bad position where they're getting 3, 4, 5 shots all in a matter of 5 to 10 seconds? You can't expect, 3 offensive players and then having Joey Decord or Crew sitting there. They're only going to be able to defend so many before a goal gets scored. So we definitely need to help out our teammates. And I'm hoping that we can end up getting on a run here in the second half of the season where we can maybe rifle off like 8 in a row. But at this point, I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but we can always keep the faith. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I imagine there was quite a few people that are Kraken fans that had to take a peek and be like, okay, where are we at? Are we going to be at home for a little bit? And 15 out of 19 at home, me likey. I like that a lot. I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you and Hack. Yep. I mean, it's, because I think the frustration is boiling in, and, some of it is Hack maybe doing a better job with the lines, but ultimately Hack is not the one out there, getting it done. The players have to play, and they have to be able to embrace these tough matchups or the easy matchups, and you have to get up for those big games. You just can't, go into the matchup thinking that we've already won or we've already lost. You have to go in there with a competitive fight and a competitive spirit. You don't want to play down to the competition and then lose, or play up to the competition and then lose a heartbreaker, but that's hockey still. Let's go. Anything on the Call of Duty side that you want? All right, baby. Thank you for helping out on the Twitter/X, Sarah. Go, baby. We have NHL tomorrow. We got Sabres and Canadiens, Flyers and Blackhawks, Bruins and Oilers, Maple Leafs and Coyotes, and Blue Jackets and Ducks. So we're probably going to do Bruins Oilers at 7 p.m. tomorrow, or Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks against the Flyers. So I'll have to make a decision of that when we do that tomorrow. All right, let me turn the music off. Let's get into this. All right, baby, let's go. Whoa! Wow! Holy cow! Like that? On Dawes already, 1-0 Caps. That was way fast. Oh no, Dawes. Yeah, Bruins and Oilers. It seems like it's going to be the matchup to do. It's a little late for some people because it'll be 7 p.m. my time, 9 p.m. for the people in the Midwest, and 10 p.m. on the East Coast. But I think that will be the one that we end up doing, unless we end up doing Connor Bedard, the first part of the TNT doubleheader. So, okay, no problem. And I agree. I think that is going to be an epic matchup. It's the best matchup tomorrow for sure, 100%. That one stood out like a sore thumb. So it is kind of a late start at 7 p.m. I wish it was at like 5 or 6, but again, it's the second half of a doubleheader. So, and I know Odin's son is eating dinner, and he'll be in here in just a second. Yeah, Blackhawks Flyers, it has potential to be decent, just because I love Connor Bedard and I want to be able to see what he can do as a rookie. But if you're looking at an actual, two-headed monster going against each other with the Bruins and Oilers, it's definitely those two teams. I got to look at the standings right now for both of those teams right now, too. Obviously, Boston is still in first place by a game over Florida, and with points 77 to 76. And then and Edmonton is in third, so still be good. Nico Daws and Charlie Lindgren, 6-6 record for Daws. He needs to play well tonight for the Devils to be able to get this road win. But again, every road team has won so far in the first 3 matchups, and this is the 4th. Plantar fasciitis. That sucks. Sorry. I hope that gets better for you. Yeah, I wasn't expecting the Caps to get one on Daws that quickly. Come on, Luke Hughes. I do like Luke Hughes as the rookie in there, and obviously he's one of the top 5 rookies this season with Connor Bedard. They got a nice little squad, the Devils, and I actually really enjoy doing their games. And we'll have to see with TJ Oshie, and we'll see with Alexander Ovechkin and a few of the others on the Caps and what they can do here today. And already a 1-0 lead for the Caps right out of the gate. All right, no problem. I'll be here. And then on Thursday, I might do a doubleheader. Again, we have the first baseball game of the year, Dodgers Padres at 12:10. But there's probably not going to be a lot of people with the likes and the sub opportunities and the dono opportunities if it's going to be at noon. Some people are going to be at work and whatnot. So I may or may not do the live stream for the Dodgers and Padres, but I will watch the whole thing. And then the Kraken end up playing at the end of the night on Thursday, and we'll end up doing that one for sure. The Kraken end up playing the Canucks at 7, so we may do 2 streams on Thursday or just one, but it would probably be smart just to do the Kraken game, and then as we get closer to the regular season, then that might be a little bit better. I just don't know what the turnout would be as if I did. I mean, if you're a hardcore baseball fan, that's the only game on, the very first game of the year, even though it's preseason. For people like me, I'm intrigued. I'm going to watch. But for the average baseball fan, they probably don't give a shit about that game unless you are a Dodger fan or a Padre fan. So we'll talk about it and we'll kind of go from there. Ovechkin, yeah, definitely a fan favorite with him and Sidney Crosby as being OGs now. I remember when they first came into the league, and now it's like they're at the end of their careers. It's crazy. Prayers up, prayers up, prayer is up, baby. God bless Odin's son and Megan too. Like I said, you want to make sure that you try to do your best to be able to get to all the goals that we have set on every stream, and I really do appreciate the two of you tremendously. Wow, 10 more. What do you think? Do you think he can play 10 more? I mean, we've seen guys like Gordie Howe play for a long, long time in their career, but that was kind of the NHL back in the day. What is the oldest player that is playing in the NHL today? That's a good question right there. I would like to know. Who is the oldest? Do we have any 40-year-olds in the NHL that are skating around there right now? Anything at 40 and above? So I just got a chance to talk to Odin's son, and so since he's limited with devices with him and his family, he's actually watching the game on his phone. So I'm not sure if he's going to be able to come in unless it ends up being like intermission, and then he may come in at that point. So 41, Craig Anderson, Mike Smith, 40, Giordano, 39. Wow. See, I learned something new every day. Thank you for that. And since Odin may or may not be able to drop in, it just depends on the devices and what he has access to. But he says that for the people in the room, for like you, Megan, that donated, and Sarah, that even though I threw up some photos for him already, that you guys can choose some additional photos for his dono. And I know he was trying to get a BWO shirt ordered for me, but obviously the website was glitching. I really do appreciate your guys' generosity and kindness. It does mean everything to me. And it looks like it'll either be a BWO tank top, since I like cut off shirts, or a t-shirt, whether I, cut the sleeves off if a t-shirt was ordered or not. I mean, if I ended up getting a t-shirt as a gift, I may end up just keeping the sleeves on there, but we'll see what ends up happening with the website. And as soon as I end up getting the gift of the BWO tank top or t-shirt, I definitely will be rocking it on stream. Okay, some Shotzi and Martin Berger, good choices. I know he's eating dinner and he said, "Damn, Caps are already up." I said, "I know, boo." It was so fast. Kraken's first captain. Nice. See, I learned something else. It's always good to learn, from others, not only in the stream but just in life. Just to add more factoids and just different things. In the sport world, either that or in wrestling. So thank you for that. Appreciate that for you looking that up and distributing that information. Something that that we always are going to learn something from each other on every stream here. So Caps 1, Devil 0. Oh, I remember Chelios. That's crazy. I did not know that he was that old though. Wow, that's crazy. I used to play with him in the video games back when I was a little kid, like on Sega Genesis and PlayStation, and early on. All right, now I got a follow up question. How many years did Chris Chelios play in the league? 20 plus, right? Based off that age. Yeah, that's true. And his body was probably going to be. I mean, as long as he doesn't have any significant injuries, like anything to the knee, or the legs, he takes care of his body really well and hasn't had too many significant season-ending injuries in his career. Thank God. So, 13 minutes to go in the first period. Caps 1, Devils 0. Let's go, Caps. Let's go, Devils. Yeah, we can throw up some Seahawks for you. You got anything particular that you want? Like you want some of the coaches? You want the players? You let me know what you're thinking. You just let me know. You give me the names. I'll look it up and I'll try to find the most attractive HD 4K photos that I can find of whatever topic that we're doing. Woo! 84 to 2010. That's unbelievable. Large and Zorn. Ooh, throwback. I like it. Why not, right? You haven't seen him in a minute. So, all right, we got a commercial break. All right, so let's try to throw some stuff up here. You got to work quick here. All right, see what I can pull up here during the commercial break for the donos. Anybody that donos ends up getting photos of their favorite thing, whatever it may be. So I got you. Always got to be working in between the commercial breaks. We got to make sure we're getting every photo we can throughout the stream. Make the most of every stream that we got. Woo-hoo-hoo! Let's go. And I love me some throwback photos. And it's not only, the jerseys were elite and the best back then, but then it's also the hairstyles and the different things that you notice, the clothes. And I absolutely love this. Let's go. I think I could squeeze in maybe one more. Pretty jerseys, pretty helmets, everything pretty, pretty, pretty. All right, let me delete those, and then I'll start working on your largents once we go into another commercial break. have to go through and see if I already made a Steve Largent file for you. I already have a Jim Zorn. I have multiple files already for the people that are the biggest supporters of the channel. Because it's like, why have them and then delete them? You might as well be able to have the really really good ones in a file, so that way you can add to the file when others emerge. On the internet or wherever I find them. So less than 12 minutes to go in the first period. 1-0 Caps. Well, it's okay to be a homer, and for me being not biased and on the outside looking in for every NFL team, I'll be honest. Out of all the throwback jerseys in the 80s and 90s, Seahawks are like in my top two. Like as far as overall, you could argue number one based off colors and look. Based off their helmets, but obviously the Philadelphia Eagles, Kelly Green, that is very attractive. I like that. The Houston Oilers, where the Titans wear, I like that. The Patriots one where it has the guy doing the 3-point stance, like the Patriots jerseys they wore back in the day. I like that with the guy on the helmet. Even the Tampa Bay Buccaneer ones, those ones are okay to me. But again, I'm not really big into orange. So I think that some of the other colors are a little bit more nicer, like the Kelly Green or the Seahawk blue. So, yeah, they look nice. I mean, like I said, I even saw photos going circulating around of like basketball jerseys from the 80s and 90s compared to now. And they're so much better in that era. Even in the 90s, you could argue that 90s basketball jerseys might have been the best look that they ever had in the team's history of existence of the NBA overall. They have so many awesome Mitchell and Ness throwbacks and a lot of the memories of the players that played in that era with like Larry Johnson and Shaq and Alonzo Mourning and Jordan. It's just crazy, crazy, amazing, stylish uniforms. Big facts. Matt in the building. What's good? Yeah. Oh yeah. Sonics jerseys are amazing. There's a lot of people across the globe that rock, the throwback jerseys of the Sonics. They'll have the Gary Payton, they'll have the Sean Kemp, and anytime I end up seeing a Sean Kemp or a Gary Payton or a Shrimp at a Blazer game, I always tap the person on the shoulder, or I say what's up and say, nice jersey. I always have to, because I know that those aren't going to be as common, especially in Oregon. So I like being able to see people represent, even for something that doesn't necessarily exist anymore, but we think it may be back. I'm a big fan of the Montreal Expos baseball jerseys from back in the day. Obviously, the Expos turned into the Washington, Nationals. Wish Montreal was able to keep their team there, but I loved the Expos growing up as a kid. They had Randy Johnson before he joined the Mariners, Pedro Martinez, Oil Can Boyd, Andres Galarraga, and I just think the logo and the colors for those Expos jerseys back in the day were fire. I would definitely buy one of Randy Johnson. Mariners first, but if I had extra money down the road, definitely I would get the Expos Randy Johnson too. All right, less than 9 minutes to go in the first period. 1-0 Caps. Yeah, do that, bro. You do that. Put any type of article or any type of top 10 list. Oh, big save. Yeah, anything that you want to be able to do football related, you do that. I'll read it, I'll like it, and I'll support you, bro. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Detlef Schrempf was a guest coach at the All-Star game on Saturday night. I don't know, you probably didn't watch it, or maybe you saw photos of him or a brief highlight of him coaching on the sideline. And he was a G League coach, so it's like the lower tier NBA league, and they actually beat Wemby's team, a team of full of NBA players that are professionals. So they didn't end up winning at all, but still, for that team, they had four teams. Three teams with all NBA players, and then Detlef Schrempf had all the G League players, which in consideration would be like in baseball, Major League Baseball, and then the other team Detlef has was like AAA. So it shows you even G League players can beat a roster of NBA players if you put them in the right situation. And we got to give Detlef a little credit for that coaching to be able to get them over the hump. They didn't win it, but they at least got to the championship game, and that's a lot further than most people thought. So pretty cool. Ron in the building. What's good? Yeah, G League team is it's just like a lower, it's like a developmental league for NBA players. And they have a choice to go to like China or overseas, but some of them will go into the G League just hoping that if someone ends up getting hurt or if they cut a second rounder in a draft, that maybe there'll be room for me, and I can get, go up. And not a lot of G League players go up. It's just like AAA, a few, and sometimes it's only for a little while. But everyone has dreams and everyone has goals, and sometimes you got to start there before you can end up making it on the NBA roster. So exactly. Yep. I did see, which I know you saw also too, but that Dredge had two back-to-back shutouts, and he had an interview saying that he feels like he's gotten more recognition and credit being on Coachella. But obviously, if you're the third string goalie, it's not like you're out there playing for the Kraken every single night to be able to prove yourself. But I thought that was a pretty cool thing to be able to see him have some success. And anytime Coachella is on, I try to peek. I don't watch a full game, but I try to peek just to see what's going on with maybe some potential players that will come up and down through the Kraken and Coachella. And we ain't talking music festival. All right, less than 8 minutes to go in the first period. 1-0 Caps. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to, especially when you got Dredge and then you got Gru and you got Joey, and then Joey got, a shutout, a couple shutouts, and was playing well. Then Gru comes back, obviously playing great last year, and then rough start this year, mental, physical injuries, comes back, plays lights out. So, I mean, there really isn't any room for Dredge at this moment unless one of the other two guys, Gru or Joey, goes down with an injury. That would be the only way Dredge gets to be, the backup. So, but I still like seeing him have success at Coachella. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So excited for baseball to be back here in 2 days. We got NHL, we got baseball around the corner. NASCAR has already started. Shout out to William Byron for winning the Daytona 500. Lots of wrecks in that Daytona 500. It was a lot of fun to watch. And we got wrestling obviously going full tilt. WWE is at a very good point right now as far as wrestling terms is concerned. Popularity, matches, and excitement moving forward. AEW has a ways to catch up to them now, and again, no NFL or college football, but there still is the NFL draft and the combine. And if you're a real NFL fan, which a lot of us are, NFL is 24/7, 365. And it's not something that, we're not going to be paying attention to all year. Plus, free agency is pretty big, but some of the names will get tagged. Others will re-sign maybe for less money, and others will be on new teams this year. It'll be very interesting to see. Like the Mike Evans to the Chiefs. I was already bringing that up 2.5 months ago, and then now everyone in the media is talking about it. But funny how that ends up working out. But sometimes you can kind of foreshadow and kind of, if you do a lot of reading and you watch a lot of film and you watch a lot of games, sometimes you can come up with some good, predictions, based on team fit and also money, and knowing that the NFL is a business. And of course, I want Mike Evans back on my Buccaneers, but there should be only one team that Evans goes to if it's not the Bucs, and it's the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, that's where I would go, because if you end up joining, Kelsey and Mahomes, you might be able to, squeak out another ring or two before your Hall of Fame career is over, and then that would put his career up on another level. Because I think a lot of people don't understand how good Mike Evans truly is, and they won't until he's retired. Big facts. Yeah, Miller is done. He's old. I don't think anyone gives a shit about Von Miller anymore. He's a shell of himself. He's, it's more like the Mike Evans, T. Higgins. Obviously, Antoine Winfield Jr. will get the franchise tag. But also too, there's going to be certain things that if you cut a player, that it goes against your cap, and then you're like Jamal, Williams, for like the Saints, like you have him and Alvin Kamara, which I believe both are 29. And so they're on the wrong side of getting close to 30 based for running backs, and they are the worst over the cap. So, and if they decided to be like, let's just cut Jamal, then you're still getting a penalty. It doesn't work like, oh, we paid him money or we owe him money. Let's just get rid of his contract and get rid of him, and then everything is good. It just doesn't work like that in the NFL. So I feel bad for the Saints. They're not in a good position moving forward. Jackson Powers is going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm telling you right now, as long as he doesn't have any serious, season-ending injuries, I think he will go down as, being one of the best NFL centers, and I think he'll be one of the best NFL centers right away. And it wouldn't surprise me if he makes a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro in his first 2 years. Could be year number one. And I'm telling you, whoever gets him is going to get a gem. So if like the Seahawks decide to go for that, I'm telling you, it is going to work out so well for whoever drafts him. Whether it's a contender already, or if it ends up being a bad team that wants to get better on the line, or if it ends up being like a Super Bowl contender and then they grab him, he is going to be phenomenal. Like, there's not many offensive linemen that I would buy a jersey for the Oregon Ducks. I would buy an Oregon Duck jersey of Jackson Powers. That's how good that he was. And we've had a few others like Max Unger, former Saint and Seahawk. He was a good player. They had Hronis Grasu. He was a good player. But Jackson Powers is the best center Oregon has ever had. And I think that he'll be one of the best centers that the league has ever seen, as barring any serious season-ending injuries to his legs. I'm so excited for him. I think Bowers is a need. It's not a priority. The priority for you guys is offensive line and defensive line. You got to be able to firm up both of those pass rushers, run stuffers, guys that can get sack lunches like DNs, run stuffers that can play nose tackle, D tackle, and then offensive line. Because your offensive line, a lot of the guys, they are going to be up for contract. You have three of them, 3 out of your 5. They're going to be getting off their rookie deal or their contract is going to be up. So ultimately, Jackson Powers would be more valuable to you than Bowers. Now, if you get Bowers the ball, like obviously the Lions did, with Sam Laporta, then you could have your little Sam Laporta, Brock Bowers on Seattle, and that would help out tremendously. But Bowers ain't going to get the ball, from Geno or whoever the quarterback is in the future if the line doesn't block for Geno or for whoever the quarterback may be. So like Kyle Pitts got drafted top 5, never gets the ball. So that's another scenario where you can have this top 5 talent, but if you don't get the opportunities, then, it almost looks like a wasted pick. Oh, there we go. Devils 1-1. Oh, baby. But so if it was me and any Seahawk fan that actually knows contracts and if anyone wants to, bring it up, Bowers is the sexy pick, but it's not needed. You don't need him. It's just like that would be a luxury. But again, offensive line, defensive line, more important than tight end. Tight end is, it's like O-line, D-line, right? Linebackers, secondary, then tight end. So the importance of tight end is there, but Jackson Powers would be more impactful, especially when 3 out of your 5 guys are going to be potentially gone, or you have to decide if you want to keep them or if they're going to go somewhere else. So you're at a position now where offensive line is definitely the number one need for the Seattle Seahawks. And if anyone wants to argue with you, tell them to look at the contracts for all the 5 offensive linemen that are signed with the Seahawks that are starters now and see what is going to be coming up, and 3 out of the 5. And then once you tell them that, then no one will really argue Bowers or, you could argue D-line. But again, if 3 out of the 5 offensive linemen may not be there, that is and they're not as good as they, let's be honest, the Seahawks offensive line isn't the greatest. So if 3 out of the 5 are going to be gone, potentially, those are needs that need to be filled. And also a lot of game planning ahead because, you got the quarterback, running backs, wide receiver. You need a tight end, right? But again, if the offensive line doesn't do well, what happens? You don't make the playoffs. If your defensive line doesn't do well, you don't make the playoffs. And I feel, O-line, D-line, linebacker, secondary, that is all the priority. And then tight end is a luxury, but it is a need for them as well, but just not a number one need. But Bowers has potential to be a top 5 tight end right away. And Jackson Powers has a potential to be a top 5 center right away. And both guys have potential to be Hall of Famers, I believe. So it just depends on what teams they fall to.
Yeah, well, with no car, no targets, so he's really irrelevant. Yeah. And so, like I said, it's those little things, those little extra facts that you're going to get here, that they may be missed, with the 12s or other places, when they're looking at it. They're like, well, Brock Bowers, he could be the next Sam Laporta. Yes, a tight end would be really sexy. And I honestly feel that you guys do need one at some point. You know what I mean? But again, it's more of a luxury pick. And again, if you have all these offensive linemen and there's a bunch of question marks, why would you go for a tight end when you have so many question marks and needs on the O line? Then it's like, if you do that pick, then it's like you're trying to get butts in the seats, but you don't really care about long term winning. It's just like I'm trying to, try to create this like vibe of like superstar players at all the skill positions. But as anyone knows in the NFL, you can have great quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end, but if you don't have an O line to run block, pass block, or pull, right? You're not going to be able to get the most out of your players. You still need a good head coach and a good OC and a good DC. But if you don't have a good O line or D line, you're screwed. I mean, that's the gasoline in the Ferrari. So if you think, Gino and Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker the third and DK and Lockett and JSN are the Lambo and the Ferrari, well, the offensive line is the gas. And if you don't got no gas, you ain't going nowhere. You just got a shiny object in the garage or, sitting there in the driveway. So, when I ended up reading, that 3 out of the 5 I was like, oh God. I was like, so that makes that Jackson Powers look even more sexy. And then if they don't go Jackson Powers, make sure that you're filling the gap of one of those 3 players that may or may not be there. And obviously, you got Cross there and you got a few others, but there is a lot of positions that can be upgraded or filled, based on not only this draft, the next draft, and then the following draft. So, and then maybe if you're lucky, you'll get a free agent offensive lineman to fill the need on one of the spots. So that way you don't have to draft O-line, because you already know it's not like the Seahawks are going to draft O-line with the first 3 picks that they have. I would be shocked if they did something like that. But if they did, that would tell me that they have a mission in mind, but again, obviously with the Seahawk, head coach being defensive oriented, you would assume that one of the first 3 picks will be a D lineman, and then one of them will be an O lineman, and then maybe a free agent O lineman or D lineman to supplement maybe one of those other draft picks so they can go for a tight end or someone else in the draft. So that's typically how, usually teams, try to navigate. So. Yeah. Just do more reading. Just do what I do. Do more reading and then dig up, the exact, players, the contract. And then, once that gets surfaced, no one can argue. You're like, okay, our offensive line isn't good. We didn't make the playoffs, right? Obviously, the Rams did over us, right? And they have 3 guys out of the 5, and the 5 really weren't that good that much, throughout the year. They could have been better, right? And then it's like, if you don't go O-line, then that's a lot of. Then that puts a lot of pressure on free agents, and who knows if you're going to be able to get 3 offensive linemen free agents to join the team. That's not very likely. When's the last time you heard an NFL team be like, "Oh, we got 3 offensive linemen in free agency, and they're all good"? I don't think I've ever heard that before. So you might be able to get 1 or 2, but most of the time you hear D lines getting replenished in free agency, not really offensive linemen. So. But I honestly feel Jackson Powers could end up being arguably maybe Oregon's one of the best offensive linemen that we've ever had in the history of the Oregon Ducks. That's how good he is. And he won the Remington, so that's given out to the best center in college football. And not only was he the best Ducks center of all time, he was the best college football center, this season. And he's a machine, like I said, and he's a good kid. He's not going to get in trouble. He's, what I mean? He loves football, genuine dude. And again, puts in a lot of work in the weight room and with the teammates. And like I said, I think that if the Seahawks grabbed him, it would be amazing. But I'm not sure if that's what they're going to be looking at with their first pick. And you never know if they're going to pick their first pick. They may even trade down to accumulate more picks. So we don't really know. But what I do know is whoever Jackson Powers goes to, they are going to be pleasantly surprised, just like the Detroit Lions when they took Penei Sewell. And I told everyone that I thought he'd be a Hall of Famer right out of the gate. And as you're looking at the Detroit Lion offensive line, that statement still hangs true. and Penei Sewell will be in the Hall of Fame. So Oregon Ducks, we're starting to develop pretty good O-line and D-line. Kayvon Thibodeau, Penei Sewell, Jackson Powers, and it's only going to get better with Dan Lanning at our head coach in recruiting. Less than a minute to go. We're knotted up at 1. Yeah, but you also have to go in, realizing that not everyone is on the same level football knowledge wise. And some people just like to argue. You have people in there that, donate, and you have people in there that maybe don't donate that just like to argue. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's just best to stay away from the people that are just trying to antagonize you or antagonize the people in the room to get a reaction. You know how trolls work. And the thing is that you don't expect it when you all love the same thing, the Seahawks. You would assume it would be like a Niner troll or a Rams troll or just a hater, of the Hawks, right? But sometimes you end up getting it from your very own kind, the team that you all support. That's why I can't be a part of any Oregon Duck or Tampa Bay Buccaneer one. And most Buck fans and Duck fans are fucking cool as shit. I haven't really had too many issues with Buccaneer fans or, with Oregon Duck fans. But once you get a bunch of people, and they may all like one team, but some of them are, not going to be the most pleasant to interact with. So sometimes you have to be able to understand what you're getting into. And sometimes, you don't know, that's going to happen, but sometimes, as you know, with people in the room, certain people in chat rooms online have tendencies to be toxic. And I think that most of us can recognize those toxic people right away based on how they type, what they type, and how often they type. So, it is what it is. But again, sometimes it's like, talking to a 5-year-old. No matter what you say, even if you're right, and even if they know you're right, they're still going to say that you're wrong just to aggravate you. That's what people do. Like, you could be arguing with someone in the room about Jackson Powers, and then they could be talking all day and all night for a linebacker or make up any other player or Brock Bowers or whoever or a quarterback, and they do it just, to be able to get a reaction out of people. So, yeah, I'm sorry that has to happen. And the thing is the Seahawks fan base, like from an outsider perspective, doesn't have, I think, a negative connotation. Seahawks fans are not known as negative like maybe Eagle fans or Cowboy fans, right? But if you're in a room with, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 200 of them, not all of them are going to be knowledgeable and not all of them are going to be good people. You're going to get some piece of shit people that it just so happens that you root for the same football team. So, that's just the reality of how it goes, but that sucks. Yeah, but not everyone is going to be on the same level, based off film knowledge. And everyone can have opinions, you know what I mean? But again, some opinions have a little bit more backbone when you know the people that are doing those opinions or predictions when they actually are putting in a lot of time and effort, on watching the film and reading the articles and watching the games compared to some person that occasionally watches, occasionally checks social media, then hops into like a room with a bunch of other fans and then wants to stir the pot, End of the first period, we're knotted up at 1. All right, let me get some photos up. Put some Jack Hughes up. All right, let me delete these. And then I'll make some more. We'll put some Shotzi up for Odin. And we'll put some Martin Brodeur. for Odin. And then Megan, if you want anything, you let me know. Oh, I got some Steve Largent here for you. I got some of that. So I'll get some Steve Largent up here for you. Hold on one sec. Good game so far. Knotted up at 1. Caps got an early first goal, which was very unexpected. I don't think anyone expected them to score that quickly. But that's hockey for you. And I like the Devils' fight to not just give up, keep grinding it out, and then to knot it up 1-1. First goal by Connor McMichael, 39 seconds in. And the second goal from the Devils, Alexander Holtz. And I'll get a Holtz photo up for him as well. Appreciate you, Odin. Shotzi. All right, Tegan. Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart. That's a cute photo of them. Yeah. A couple of females are injured with some leg injuries. NXT talent as well. Yeah, Seahawks green hair. All right, so do a couple more team brothers in here. Hi, Tegan. Bye, Shotzi. No, I don't know if it's Kelly green. I mean, it's very, very bright. It's like Shotzi green. Like she's got her own color for her hair. I don't even know. I don't think it's Seahawk green or Kelly green. It's like her own. Gotta brand that color. Our team burger. Woo, baby. Okay. Good check. Appreciate you helping out. Sometimes Twitter X it like, I saw it. I got one from an hour ago. Your top 10 wide receivers, baby. Got all the A's and the B's. I think I got both of them. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it. Sometimes it'll show up in my timeline. Sometimes it doesn't. But eventually, I end up, going through them. And when you do things like that, Matt, you know, it definitely demonstrates your knowledge of the NFL or the position, you know, for wide receivers and, you know, route running and whatnot, you know, and not a lot of people, you know, have that. So that's a good thing. You know, I'm always, you know, breaking down film and stats and you know, based off talent in the NFL, and keep doing what you're doing. I'll read them every day, bro, and I'll share your shit. I like your shit. I'll tell you know, I'll always make sure I support, bro. 2 more likes to 10. Get some Steve Largent up here and a few other things. All right, let's go a couple. Do some Steve Largents here for Megan. This is probably my favorite Steve Largent photo, or one of my favorite ones, for sure. Black and white, high stepping, right past the Jets. And then I like this one. Woo-hoo! Action pose. That's one of my favorites there. Could be. It's 1-1, depending on what you did for your parlay and who you chose. Do it, bro. Dig. I have to dig for the good. Right, I like that one. That's a great action shot. Oh, baby. Against the Chiefs? I'm pulling out the stops, baby. Yeah, every road team has won so far this year in the first 3 matchups, so I would assume New Jersey will win. But, you know, I feel they'll have momentum and they will win, but I just don't know how much they're going to win by. They may only win by 1. You know, it might end up being a 3-2 game or something of that nature, you know, but for your sake, you're going to have to hope it ends up being like a 3-1 game or a 4-1 game. That's a cool one. Like I said, I've never seen that. That's the very first time. You never know. Sometimes it's all about like different keywords and what you're looking at, and then all of a sudden you'll click on one, and then maybe it's not the one that you want, but then it leads to another option of another 5 or 10, and then you click on that, and then it takes you down kind of a rabbit hole, and then eventually you start seeing things that maybe you've never seen before, and another. It's like, timeout. We're about to win the game against the Raiders. You got it against all the teams. Jets, sniffing his cleats. Vikings, nice try. Purple people eaters. Over the top. Zone the Largent. Timeout. I'm in my bag today. I don't think I have found this many new. Wow. You never know what rabbit hole your boy will go. this is exciting for me because when people donate, I get to see what they love, and then even if they don't, depending on where we're at in the stream, I'll throw up photos for people for whatever their favorite things are in life. And then when I can end up finding things like that, and another, it makes me have more of an appreciation for that player, that team, that time period. And obviously anyone that knows me I'm an 80s, 90s baby. So anything 80s, 90s, or even 70s for me is like elite. Like 70s, 80s, 90s, particularly 80s, 90s for me is the best. And then I got a lot of love for the 50s and 60s. A lot of love and respect for the 70s, but the 80s and 90s is what I grew up in, and I grew up in the early 80s, so I got everything, early, mid, and late. Pretty sweet. Oh, against the Niners. Let's go. Look at the face mask. The evolution. Look at the face mask, right? Got the double bar in front. That's when you know the helmets are at the very early, barely any foam in there. Barely any foam. No protection for the eyes. I mean, it's not like you would necessarily, wear a visor, or players would wear visors, but there were certain players that would wear, right? And then the evolution of something a little bit with more protection. Like whenever I see this photo, I can almost like envision him. Like I feel like the photo deserves to have like a Photoshop, like clear visor or a black visor. He'd look so cool in that, but that just wasn't his style. There wasn't a lot of people that had the visor game back then, but all right, Steve. So fresh and so clean. Man, I'm going to have to go down this rabbit hole again. I will always deep dive. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, I found something crazy. Found something crazy. Crazy. You ever seen a photo of Steve Largent being a quarterback and throwing a ball in a trick play? I do. I just saw it. Oh my God. Nice form. Good spiral. Against the Lions, a little trick play, have Largent throw the ball. Yes, please. Oh, that one's definitely staying in the library. See, you learn something new and you see something brand new every day, and it makes your life that much more fulfilling, baby. Oh, I'm in my bag today, baby. I'm in my bag today. Turn the music off. I bring the electricity. I bring the fire. Let's go. We're knotted up at 1. Start of the second period. Man, that made my day. The thing is like, if you grow up in a similar era, and you have appreciation for greatness, it doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter if it's on the Niners or the Seahawks or the Giants or the Packers. Greatness is greatness. And to be able to follow greatness throughout the years, especially if you're a little bit older, like if you're older than 40, you get it. Or if you're older than, 30 compared to the people that are, 25 and under. But half of the fan base that watches is under 40. The other half is over 40. So the youngest is 10 to 12. The oldest we have, I think, is 90. So it's a pretty wide range of people. So freaking cool. No problem. That shit made my day. You know what I mean? Like, regardless on how it makes you feel, which I know it probably is nice to be able to see something that either A, you've seen it before, B, you haven't seen it before at all, or C, you've seen it before, but it's been a minute, you know, or, you know, you might have seen a highlight or a game, or maybe you've seen the photo or what it's from, but it's always cool to be able to unearth, you know, something of one of your favorite things that maybe you've never seen it before. And, you know, that's always awesome. All right, let's get 10 more. We're knotted up at one. Starting the second period, baby. Let's go. I love stuff like that. When I can see something brand new and learn something brand new, and we did that today, that's like my ultimate day, besides just, you know, spoiling the hell out of Paisley and, you know, giving her all my attention and all my love. You know, and making sure that I spend time with her, you know, outside and inside. But Eastern Conference, Rangers, Hurricanes, Flyers, Bruins, Panthers, Maple Leafs, wild card race, Lightning, Red Wings, Devils. 10 more likes to get to 20, 10 more dollars to get to the goal. Oh, I need to get an Alexander Holtz photo too. Oshie. Power play. Tripping on Oshie. Come on, TJ. All right, baby. Rookie of the month in the AHL in 2022. Holtz getting that devil goal, baby. Oh, what a save. Yes. No problem. Get a haircut. Gotta get rid of the extra hairs on the shirt and all over the face. Got to get it done. You can only hang around after getting a haircut and then not hopping in the shower for so long. All right, come on, baby. Let's see if the Devils can capitalize on this power play in the second period. We're knotted up 1-1. Caps with a goal with the first 30 seconds into the game. Devils had to wait a little bit and to find the right line, but they got it. And we're knotted up at 1 here in the second period with 17 minutes and counting. Let's go. Yes. Come on, Jack Hughes. Come on, Luke Hughes. Come on, Jesper Bratt. You know, and it's cool to actually, you know, buy in. And when you love something, like when someone else loves something, I'm going to buy in. And so, like now with Odin and his love for the Devils, as well as Aiden and a few others, but primarily Odin's son, like I really enjoy watching and covering the Devils. So it's like I almost feel it's like an extension of me watching the Kraken, or like, you know, it's like they got a lot of good players. They're fun to watch. Are they the best team in the NHL? No, but they are very competitive, and they're going to go through the ups and downs. And I just feel like every time I do a Devils matchup, it ends up being a good game. Very rarely where they get blown out or they blow out another team, even though those definitely occur throughout the season. But again, the more you know, the more players that you know on each team, the more interested you're going to be. If you don't know the names of any of the players on any of the teams, of course you don't give a shit about hockey. But the same thing could go for any sport. It's hard to jump in and get motivated for something if you don't know the rules or you don't know who the fuck is playing. All right, we're all knotted up here. Full strength. Fuck. I'll give the Caps a little love with their side-to-side logo here. We'll make sure we keep it 100. It would be cool to see Ovechkin get a goal. I mean, obviously I'm going to be pulling for the Devils for Odin to get the dub, but I mean, if I can get a Jack Hughes and Ovechkin goal and a Jack Hughes goal, I mean, that would be great. Give me something to look forward to. I mean, oh, there it is. But it was McMichael. Man, that was almost on cue. Oh, Dawes. Big Dawes. McMichael. This is as soon as I put the Caps logo up, the sports gods are like, it's time. And then the goal comes literally like seconds later. My goodness. Okay. Well, maybe I need to go back to the Devils now. Woo! Connor McMichael. Beautiful move. All right, McMichael, I see you. I put the logo up. I want to make sure we keep it 100 and we keep it 50-50. Sports gods are like, all right, that's the sign. Let's make a move. Uncle Mo, McMichael, unassisted, 10th goal of the year. 2-1 Caps. Okay. We'll keep that up there for just a little bit. And then boom. I mean, it's 2-1 now. We can't keep it on the Cap side the whole time and then have it be 3-1. And it might get, too much to be able to come back from. So come on, Ovi. I want to see an Ovechkin goal, but I need to see the Devils score and tie it up before we get the Ovechkin goal. But so the first game that these two teams played was late October, and it was 6-4 Caps on the road. And then I think we played like 2 weeks later, and then it was Caps 4-2, and so both road teams ended up winning the matchups in both matchups in October and November. 6-4 and 4-2 Caps winning in New Jersey. Last matchup was in January, and obviously here in Capital One, Devils won 6-3. So these have been high-scoring affairs, and then right now we're at 2-1. So last matchup of the year, Washington leads 2-1 right now. And the lowest the point totals have been is 4-2, and that is in game 2. But we might, we'll see. Maybe it'll be a 4-2 thing. Maybe we'll get something closer to a 6-4, like a game 1 score, I'm hoping. So Jack Hughes, Ovechkin. Luke Hughes getting a goal would be pretty dope too. Or Jesper Bratt. Jesper Bratt getting an assist or a goal would be cool. I saw the Walmart Vizio thing this morning on my feed. I've never bought one of their TVs. I've had friends that have bought TVs, from them and whatnot. And I've had a TV. I'm trying to remember because I've had like Sony TVs, but and I actually have one that I ended up getting for some of the streams, and it's done me. It's been good. I like the way that they have their menus set up with their remote, with like the apps, and then the way you navigate the actual like Vizio program and the apps that they have. As far as like the HD, TVs that you can get right now. And it's cool too because like if you want a TV for your room, you can get a bomb TV for $40 to 40 to 50-inch TV for like $300-400. Pretty wild that you can actually get a high quality TV for, you don't even have to spend 500 or more anymore, or 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000. I remember when I was the first one to move out of my high school, and I had a really good job. My roommate had a really good job, and I had a 53-inch big booty back, Sony. It was the top of the line back in the day, and I think I ended up paying like $3,000 for the TV back then. I had parties at my house, Monday Night Raw at my house with like 25 people, drinking and smoking and having a good time and whatnot, ordering as many pizzas as we could. Things have come a long ways with the HD 4K plasma TVs and 8K TVs, but I mean, even for just TVs, like not like a living room TV, but to be able to have one just for like a room, anything above, I think like 40 for a room, pretty big, and then once you start getting into like the 45-inch, 48, 50, and then above, it's like, damn, depending on how big your room is, it's like you feel like you got a goddamn projector in your room, depending on how big your room is. You got this huge ass TV and it takes up like half of your room, but fuck it. I mean, if it's a good quality TV, I mean, that's going to be a big part of it, that in your bed, right? You got to be comfortable and you got to have entertainment. Video game system somewhere in the room. All right, Caps up 2-1 on the Devils. Less than 12 minutes to go in the second period. Yeah, they were expensive back in the day, but this was like around the year 2000. So it was really before flat screen TVs existed. They didn't exist. And then if they did, it was like the plasmas, and then you had to pay like $8,000. And I wasn't going to spend $8,000 on a brand new Vibe. And when we call flat screen back then, it still had a little bit of a back to it. And the big ones like the Sonys, you've seen them. Like they have the tube and then it goes in the back, and the thing weighed hundreds of pounds and whatnot. So, because I remember pushing it down some stairs when I was moving with like a bunch of my homies and whatnot. They're like, push it down the stairs. I was like, fuck it. And so I did, because like I didn't, at that point, I didn't even know if I was going to keep it or if I was going to bring it with me, because technology at that point, had caught up. So it's like, golly, it's like moving that fucking big old piece of shit that weighs, hundreds of pounds. But it did do me a lot of good years, let me tell you, especially being a 17-year-old kid in 2000, having a 53-inch, high-end TV with, all your buddies coming over playing video games and whatnot. It was definitely a vibe. $199, yeah. I think the TV that I got for the streaming, and everything for the channel, I think it was only like $350. $3 to $350, and I love it. Haven't had any issues with it whatsoever. All right, baby. A little bit of Caps. A little bit of Devils. I need an Ovechkin goal, but I mean they're already up 2-1. I see you, McMichael. Jack Hughes on the left. Alexander Ovechkin on the right. And I definitely will be going out of my way to do more Sidney Crosby and Ovechkin games if they're playing a good matchup, depending on what we have for stream options. Because, this is the end of an era. Yeah, we have Connor Bedard, and you start to see like Nathan McKinnon and some of these other, GOATs that have been GOATs for a few years, a future GOAT in Bedard as a rookie, and we feel that he could end up being the next, big thing. But, with Crosby and Ovechkin, I mean, their time, I don't know how many years they're going to play. I mean, I guess for them, it's personal choice based off their accolades and if they, have the love and the passion for it still. I mean, it would seem that Crosby could probably play longer, but I mean, they both have already accomplished everything that they could accomplish in the NHL. I mean, besides extra championships, but I don't think either team is going to be winning a championship anytime soon. So unless they go to another team, then that's a whole other story. But I don't know if I want to see them play for another team. I want to see them play for one team their whole career. Then it makes the career even more legendary instead of being like a Kevin Durant and being a homie hopper and then trying to be a trophy hopper and just going from team to team like KD and LeBron. So I mean, it's cool if that's what the sports are a business, and it's one thing if you get traded, but if it's like you personally hopping and and not having the loyalty. That's a personal choice. But I've always found it, if it wasn't the organization's choice, players' choice, and they stayed the whole career, I think those type of athletes get a little bit more kudos in my book. But if you're like, I want to be here for my whole life, my whole career, and then they trade you, I mean, what can you do? You have to keep your legacy going, right? 2-1 Caps. Less than 12 minutes to go in the second period. Dawes picking up a little bit. All right, McMichael, you've gotten your time. Dawes needs to hone in a little. Martin Brodeur. All right, come on, Jack Hughes. I mean, you're the superstar. Someone's got to get it going with the last name Hughes. You feel me? Or Jesper Bratt. Let's go. That's how I am too. Sometimes when I do fantasy football, it's not like I try to like hate on certain like players, but there's certain players in fantasy that I will never draft. I will never have them on my roster. And like I said, there's going to be certain people that work harder that are better at certain things, and you want someone to be able to do everything, right? You want intelligent players that put effort. Yeah, like the opposite of the NBA All-Star game. Oh, they're getting chippy out here. Let them fight. I mean, it's like people on YouTube, they have a choice, where they want to watch their sports content. Do they want to watch it for someone that's popular, or do they want to watch someone that actually knows, what they're talking about, that, puts in the time, to, read the articles and watch the film and watch the games and interact with people and learn. Oh, that's a good question. Let's get to 20. Shout out to all the people watching on Twitter/X and the people that are in the room across the globe watching. Shout out to you. Caps 2, Devils 1. Less than 11 minutes to go in the second period. I really wish that hockey would implement the names above the players like a video game, because I feel that I could end up calling hockey games so much better that way. To be able to go through all the terminology and being able to, but the thing is like the cameras are way too far away, and sometimes the numbers aren't as clear. So, or if they're bunched up in a scrum, it's hard to be able to, commentate hockey if you don't have the names above the players, I feel like. And if they ever decide to get to that point, which I hope they do, I know some old school fans wouldn't like it because they don't, they might think, oh, it looks too much like NHL 95 or like a video game. But I don't know. I've always liked it when you can know what's out there and you can follow the game a little bit easier that way. And then you don't have to have like the glowing puck, which they used to have at the All-Star games here and there. I'm kind of a fan of the glowing puck. You don't have to have it all the time, but sometimes things get bunched up even on a white ice where you're like, where the fuck is the puck at? Like, you got all these guys there. I'm like, where is it? And you just see sticks moving, but I don't know where it is. But and that's something that I feel, you wouldn't want to have all the time, because it would be a little bit of a distraction having this like neon green glowing puck in every fucking hockey game. But the player names, and it's like a little bubble, like a little video game bubble, You could have the logo of the team, you can have the name, right? And then you can, you have they've done it before, and then I would do like position, forward, center, defenseman, and then depending on how big the bubble is, shit, you might even be able to put in a fun fact underneath. I don't know. I want to see shit like that, because then I feel I can even do more. Because like I can call a baseball game. I mean, I pretty much I feel comfortable. I can call, pretty much anything. But to be able to do it to my standard, I need help. You need to be able to put the names above, or I'm never going to be able to call it to my full ability. But if they ever do, watch out. It'll be a lot of fun. My breath and my voice will be gone, but it'll be fun. Less than 10 minutes to go in the second period. 2-1 Caps. those Florida boys. I love Florida Gator football growing up as a kid, other than my Ducks, watching Steve Spurrier. But as you've seen with the Gators are a bunch of gangsters. All right. So when you get a Florida Gator player, not all of them are going to be, straight edge and going to be good to go. Some of them, might have gang activities. Some of them are going to be committing crimes, while they're there. It's just, it just depends on where, people grew up. And people have to realize, not everyone's environment is the same. So, if you have someone that is like, Caucasian or Hispanic or Asian or Black, and they're living in a good neighborhood in a good life compared to someone, whether they're white, Black, Asian, or Mexican in a hood somewhere, environment is a big, big thing. And, and we're not even talking about, the documentary, which, obviously Swamp Kings, I think I might actually go back and watch it again. I haven't watched too many sport documentaries that I'm like, you know what? I want to watch this again. And when you watch certain things that make you want to like run through a wall, you feel that energy. I don't feel too much like that. Like I did enjoy the Barry Sanders one. But I think the last great sport documentary, I mean, MJ one was pretty fucking good. And obviously, if you are a fan of basketball, you've watched it already. But that Swamp Kings one. Johnny Football one was entertaining because I'm a Johnny fan, even though I know that most people portray him as a fuck up. But I mean, who isn't? Just because he liked girls and liked to party and didn't want to go to the NFL, but do we really have to rag on the guy? It's not like he was fully committed and then he failed, or it was like a Jamarcus Russell who pretended to watch tape when he didn't. It's like Johnny, who was Johnny? It's who he was. It just so happens that he was a party animal, and he was, in that circle, and it just so happens that he was a really good athlete. On top of that, so Swamp Kings. Kadarius Toney, nobody wants him. He's a problem child. I mean, hell, I wouldn't want him on my team either. I don't want my chemistry to be fucked up with my other receivers or some fucking guy, going crazy on fucking IG or on social media, on Twitter X and shit. So he might be the only Florida player that I've disliked, out of everybody. I think all the other ones, Pouncey's. I mean, obviously, you would have hoped for better for Aaron Hernandez instead of gangbanging and killing and being crazy like that. And then, but they've had a lot of nice talent come out of the school. Now they won't have to worry, especially if they end up signing my Mike Evans, from my Bucks. If Mike Evans ends up going to the Chiefs, they're gonna win a couple more Super Bowls. They may not win it the next year. They may or may not get to the Super Bowl. But I'll tell you what: if Mike Evans and Mahomes and Kelsey are on the same team with Andy Reid, and it's the Super Bowl next year, chances are they're gonna win and they're gonna three-peat, and they're trying to become the next big thing. Dynasty. Like Cowboys did, 3 out of 4 years, 3 in a row. Then you're getting into some crazy territory. And then if Kelsey gets hurt, you got Mike Evans. If Mike Evans gets hurt, then they're at where they're at right now. So, but I hope Mike comes back. I don't want him to go. But Mahomes hasn't been going a deep on a lot of his footballs. I think they were saying in the season he only had 3 over 20 plus yards. Most of his stuff is intermediate and short because Tyreek is no longer there. So he doesn't have that, deep ability where he's going for, 15 or 20 touchdown passes of 20 or 30 or 40 plus yards. A lot of his stuff is intermediate based off the talent that's around him. So, but if you get Mike Evans or you get, Roma Dunzier or Troy Franklin, then you're going to get a deep threat. So, I mean, I'd love Mahomes to go deep. And then that would, then people are going to be, you already know what kind of hate that will come. That's going to become even more and more. But before thinking about Mike Evans on the Kansas City Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs need to address the elephant in the room, which is Chris Jones, who is the second best player on the team. So, behind Mahomes. So at that, you want to make sure you have him, because if you don't have Chris Jones, even though he's not gotten very many sack lunches in playoff games, I believe he's only had 2.5 in 19 playoff games, which is almost unbelievable. But Chris Jones does a lot of his work in the regular season, and he doesn't have to have that big epic Super Bowl game for them to win. So that's what I mean. Maybe he's not, needed as much in the playoff run, in the regular season more, but still, I don't give a shit if he's only got 2.5 sacks and 15, 16, 18, 19 playoff games. Just the fact that he's out there, that's enough because you already know he's going to be drawing doubles and it's going to create openings for others. And he's a beast. I like Creed Humphrey. I don't know. I love offensive linemen, man. They don't get enough love. That's why we got to hope that Jackson Powers becomes the best center in the league, and then there'll be a little swag with him, because he's from the Ducks, with the uniforms and everything, and then maybe we can get to a point where the offensive linemen are going to get celebrated and people are going to buy the jersey, But again, you have to end up, getting some Super Bowls and get some notoriety and whatnot. Like Penei Sewell, man. I'm hella proud of like what like we have become, Like, have you seen what Penei Sewell and Jackson Powers and Kayvon Thibodeaux are? I mean, those are like quality pieces. We're really starting to like develop really good quality players. I can't wait to the point where our defense ends up being better than our offense, and we're both like top 10, but maybe the defense is top 5. And then I want our secondary to have all NFL players like we did in the early 2000s. And then when that happens, then I'll be a real happy man, where it's like both corners are going to the NFL, both safeties are going to the NFL. At least one linebacker is legit, maybe two. All the defensive linemen are legit. Offensive linemen are pros. We got to, give it a few years, but 25 shots on goal for the Devils, only 12 for the Caps, but they got 2 goals out of 12. But I'm telling you, once the defense and the offense are both top 10, and then we can get top 5 offense in both, that's when we're going to win a natty. That's when we're going to be able to like keep up with Georgia and Bama's and the Michigans and the Ohio States and the Texases. Is that because we're finally going to be even with the recruiting, and then our players will just have to ball out, and I feel that we're getting close, man. Yep. Easier said than done, though. How many people are really willing to put in tremendous effort every day? And like with me, I try to live my life every day knowing that with Paisley, a day is like a week for us. So do I really want to be a lazy person knowing that if I'm always going to love her and pay attention to her, but imagine ignoring a dog, right, for a day, that's a week of their life gone because you ignored the dog and you didn't show it any love or take it for a walk or give it a hug or a kiss or play games with it. So it's like anytime you end up having, a fur baby or an animal that's a big part of your life, you got to make sure you understand for every day that you're fucking around and not paying attention to that dog, that's a week of their fucking life that's gone. So, you take advantage of life every day. That's why I walk about an hour to 2 hours a day with Paisley to make sure that she is getting the most fulfilling life out of any fucking dog on planet Earth. I hear dogs barking all day and night, all up and down the neighborhoods because they're jealous. They see fucking my dog all day and all night, and they just want to be outside. I feel sorry for them. There's this one dog down the road. It's like an outside dog, and it's like fucking cold as shit outside. And I can't imagine, even if it's a bigger dog, an older dog, and it's got lots of insulation and fur, what fucking dog wants to be chained up and be outside 24/7? The answer, no fucking dog. That shit is heartbreaking. Big facts. Yeah, win the day, man. A lot of the Chip Kelly mantra and a lot of the Oregon Duck way, we try to live that, like live that life here, in Oregon. Not everyone is going to try to win the day and get the most out of every day, but I'll tell you what, that's why I do what I do, for you guys, for her. I'm always going to put other people, ahead of myself. But I feel that there has to be at least one, sports and wrestling channel that actually gives a fuck, that isn't biased, that doesn't have an agenda, that isn't getting paid by somebody to say something for this player or this team. Like to actually get some honest, real, genuine takes in sports and wrestling, not a bunch of this bullshit that you hear on TV and all these fucking fakes that are on Twitch and YouTube. It's like there's got to be at least one, or two that are like legit. So that's why I work as hard as I work, for you guys. Because it's like if I was on YouTube, I would want to be looking for people like you guys. That's exactly what I would be. I wouldn't necessarily be looking for the person that has the most subs. Of course, I would check them out to see what they're about. But it's all about connection and vibe, and you can definitely feel connection and vibe from people that you see. Some people are real, and some people are not. Big facts. All right, Caps. I see you. Win the day. Make every day count. Because if you don't, you don't know when things are going to end. I swear, too, a lot of my friends and my friends' friends are they're like dying, and like I'm not even that old, so it's like I got friends, that are under 40, and I got friends that are over 40, and a lot of the ones that are not around are not the older people, not the people that are 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. It's the people that are 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. That shit is scary. And it's not just like fentanyl, which is a big fucking problem, which I think a lot of people know. Partying is one thing, but it's like really sad to see a lot of my friends like one after another. And the sad thing is that these friends that are no longer here, it's all a big friend group or an extension of one friend group to another friend group. So it's like when you hear about a death, you're like, oh, I might not have been best friends with a guy, but I partied with him before. We were friends. Like, we might have dapped and hugged and like maybe shot some hoops, maybe played some beer pong, played a drinking game, had fun. Sad shit. Make sure you're making the most out of every day that you got. And remember, mental health, it's real important. Take care of it. Take care of you every single day. Naruto in the building. Yeah, I think they can come back, but I think what do you have them for you have them by 1.5? There was another bettor that was in here that had them in the parlay 1.5. That means that they would have to win by 2 goals, right? And I mean, we need Jack Hughes, Luke Hughes, Jesper Bratt. The road team has won every game this season. So I always look at that for betting and helping people with betting. So that way the opposite could happen. The home fucking ice team could finally win a game. But this isn't really the start that New Jersey typically has when they win games. And the Caps are playing better than they have besides the first 2 games that they won on the road. So I don't know if you're going to win the bet. And it also depends if you have it straight up or if you have it by the 1.5 on the line. Team wins? Oh, okay. Well, if it's just team wins straight up, yeah, I think the Devils can come back. But again, if they're going to come back, you kind of would hope that they would tie it up before the second period ends, or they get that tied, second goal within the first 3 minutes in the third period. You just want it to be, so that way the flow and the vibe that they can get another goal with enough time and then win the matchup. So. Yeah, and it's also good to be able to have somewhere to be able to spend time. It's like a lot of people are doing the same thing. They're playing around on their phones or playing video games or watching something. It's always cool to be able to do that with people, It doesn't have to be the whole day, but just a couple hours a day. Sometimes that's all you need to be able to, kind of keep your life on track. I mean, for me, I have to exercise too and spend time with Paisley and make sure that I'm pushing myself to the limits. And I've walked like I like literally know every inch of like my neighborhood, and I've walked farther than I ever thought I could. But again, if I didn't have her, then that would definitely be worse mental health, and I wouldn't have lost the weight that I've lost. It definitely gives you that extra motivation where you know that you have to do this, and then once you know you have to do it, then you just do more for Paisley Pup to increase her happiness on this planet Earth. Give her the best memories and the best life a dog can have. Less than 3 minutes to go in the second period. 2-1 Caps. Who's your favorite big man route runner? I would assume that would be, it's got to either be a very, very tall wide receiver, 6'4" to 6'6", or it's got to be a tight end that is that same height. Obviously, weight will be higher for a tight end, but. And also, if they're a good route runner, chances are they played basketball, because either in the high school level or high school and college, because a lot of the great elite tight ends have basketball experience, and it shows that they can box a guy out and they know body position and the ready position. And you can tell when you have basketball skill set, and then you can Tony Gonzalez it or Antonio Gates it, it definitely shows on film. And then you're like, oh, wow, yeah, it's like them going up for an alley-oop dunk. It's like you can definitely tell the guys that were athletes on, dual sports or a trifecta. Some of these guys also may have been good at track or baseball, all-around athlete. 2-1 Caps, less than 2 minutes to go in the second period. Nice save. How many more likes to get to 20? And then where are we, 10 away from goal on the donos? Shout out to all the people watching on Twitter/X. All right, we need 8 more to get to 20. So anything, every stream we try to shoot for 20 to 30 likes or more, depending on who's in the room. And there we go. It helps with the algorithm. I mean, a lot of people don't think it matters, but I mean, it really does. Even if you're only stopping by for a second, or if you're here for 3 hours, like every like that, it all goes into that formula and that algorithm, and the more that you can get, you have a better chance of getting your video recommended in someone else's timeline for something down the road. Reflect in the building. What's good? What is good, my guy? Caps 2, Devils 1. Less than a minute 30 to go in the second period. Be throwing up photos here in just a moment. So reflect. I finally got to a point where Deadwood, got at first, like, I was a little uninterested. I understand the concept and the time period, but it was a little slow, right? The first couple episodes. But then once I got further along in the first season, kind of like the back end of the first season, it started to kind of get juicy and heat up. And then I feel like I have more of a grasp of like all the characters, their names, their role, in Deadwood, right? And then I've transitioned into season 2. And I think I'm on like episode 1 or 2, and I restarted True Blood over from the very beginning because for whatever reason, I'm addicted to that show, and for whatever reason, I cannot get away from it. I'll watch it, and then I'll let a couple months pass, and I'll just go back to it again for whatever reason. But Deadwood, I'm finally on board. At the very beginning when I watched it, I was like, no, I'm not on board with this, man. This is too slow. I'm bored. Like, it's the first time that I've had like a Western kind of like bore me a little bit. I'm like, I need to spice it up for me a little bit. And then then the spice started trickling in, and then now I'm fully invested. So, and now I will finish it. But I was at a point where I'm like, damn, I don't know if I want to finish this show, but now I do. End of the second period, 2-1 Caps. All right, let's do some photos. Let's do some photos. All right, Devils. Someone needs to get on the offensive here. Kind of uncharacteristic for them. But we will see. They need to tap into their Martin Berger. And we'll go through some of these Seahawk ones I still have up here. I was starting to deep dive. Bro, you have good timing. I was starting to deep dive for Megan for her donos. right? And I was like, I want to find some new stuff for you guys, but sometimes it's hard because I have to go through many, many photos to find others and go down a rabbit hole, right? So it's like I'll have one photo that I like, but maybe it won't format to the screen. Then I click on another one that opens up another 10 as a preview. Then I got to continuously keep going down the rabbit hole. And there'll be a few that we've seen that are my favorites, like this one. Might be one of my, the first high-stepping photo of, maybe of high-stepping photos, right? And then even something like that, kind of towards the end of his career. And then we find like the action photo, right? Vikings. I love this. Or this one reminds me of like a McFarlane pose. Like if you had a Steve Largent figure, like maybe one of the two figures would have a pose that would look like this. And then maybe another one would look like this. And it has to have the football. So it has like a little hole in the hand, and then it's like a metal rod. And then you jam the metal rod in the hole in the hand of the figure, and then it has the football. So it gives you that feeling that he is over the shoulder catch. It's always cool when I can, deep dive, and then even I get excited. And then I also notice the little things, like the Jets, down here, which is obviously the banner is, now you can see. I like to see who is he ripping up. Obviously celebration here. We don't really know necessarily who they're playing unless you can see a jersey of another team up there. Minnesota Vikings. The purple people eat us. Over the shoulder. With the Chiefs. Timeout against the Raiders. Reflect with a fiver. Megan with a fiver. And I'll continue this wonderful, amazing, what we got here. Stack on stacks, rack on racks. Let's look at some Seahawk old school throwbacks. Bang. And if there's anything else that you want to see, you let me know. Megan with a fiver. You just name off Seahawk players and I'll find it. Stack on stacks, racks on racks. Stack this jack. Seahawk throwback. Bang. Thank you. Appreciate the two of you. I figured. Last game or last home game? And did they make the playoffs that year? I would assume they probably didn't make the playoffs, but yeah, a celebrational day, but also a sad day if you're a Hawk fan. And then it also gives me a chance to look at some of the coolest uniforms, back in the 80s and the 90s. 70s, 80s, 90s. I mean, it's just undefeated. I mean, there's just that photo. It like makes you feel like an emotion. Like you feel like you could feel like the vibrations of him catching the football. You know what I'm saying? Like certain photos speak. It's like when you watch a movie, when you watch a TV show, you listen to a song. But sometimes even a still photo, you can kind of immerse yourself as maybe being one of those people, as a cameraman on the sideline and watching greatness unfold right in front of you. Time out. Raiders. Love this, man. Just to be able to see the evolution, of jerseys and helmets, and to look at the 2-bar helmet that we were talking about earlier, right? And then you kind of see, the progression on being a little bit more safe, a little bit more traditional of the helmet, where what you kind of see today, right? But when you go like early on, wow, and against the Niners, like no protection for your face or nose. Like easily someone could give you the you could get the Three Stooges right in the eyes. You get punched in the nose, like it was a different breed and a different game. And then I got this last one, which I've never seen before. Trick play for Steve Largent to throw it against the Lions. That's viral. All right, Steve. I'm just deep diving. I had to go with some like different keywords that I have not done. And sometimes it just opens up one different photo compared to a regular traditional search. And then it takes you down another rabbit hole that you haven't seen before. There he is. He's like, you can't guard me. Yeah, baby. You want some toe drag swag from Largent? How about some knee drag swag? He said, I got this. He's been holding me for 15 yards. First down. Oh. Oh my God. I found an epic one. Oh my God, bro. Mic drop. The Boz and Steve on the sideline without their helmets on, but they still have the helmet in the photo frame. Oh, I have not seen too many like this. And this is the first that I've seen with the two of them posed in this manner. Might have been for like the Pledge of Allegiance, saluting Star Spangled Banner, doing all of the celebrational pre-game festivities. And so you can't really think of any other reason that they would be lined up right next to each other at the same time, because one of them would be on the field while the other one would be on the sideline. One's on defense, the Boz, and the other one's getting touchdown passes, Largent. So maybe for the Star Spangled Banner, pretty cool. Boz. Digging the headband. Strider 2, Wild Banana. NWSF. On two. Ready, break. I'm in my bag tonight. It makes me happy. I like seeing new things. I like seeing greatness. Woo-hoo! We're in the second intermission. 2-1 Caps. Yes, sir. Like I said, keep doing top 10s, keep doing information on there. Like I said, it's one of those things, if you want to be able to, go over that, do it. Like I said, I need stuff to read every day. So, and like I said, a lot of the stuff that you're interested in is the stuff that I'm into based on the stats and the analytics. I mean, that's pretty much who I am. So keep doing you, bro. I will always support your posts, brother. I am in my bag tonight. And a lot of these are like first time ever. I love seeing things that I haven't seen before. We have a great group, and like I said, if you got stuff that you got to do, I know I can, get someone like Megan or Matt or Elliot or, someone to be able to step in, to fill in if needed, so it's a special thing, some people take things for granted, but, you can create some really good bonds in life. The effort just has to be there. But plus too, like I'm not, being a streamer, it's not all peaches and cream, there's a lot of ups and downs and disappointment and frustration and, a lot of hard work that's being put in. It's not an easy thing to do, and let alone do full time. You have to be very mentally strong, and you actually have to have good people in your life to be able to succeed. And if you don't have good people in your life and good supporters and good friends, you're not going to be able to take the next step, to go to the next step, to the next step. So I'm proud to be able to have people like you guys. We're kind of selective, on as long as you have good etiquette, you're not disrespecting people. We have a little VIP thing here, but there's room for definitely a hell of a lot more. Just can't act a fool. This might be the most Steve Largent that anyone has ever seen in their entire life, and I'm for it. Boz, give me a headband. Boz made that headband stylish, just like Cliff Robertson did for the Blazers. Uncle Cliffy, baby. Spider 2 Y banana on two. Ready, break. $75 right there in the middle. Looks like he can eat a lot. Steak dinner on him. Raiders on the ground. Boz hype came from what he did at college. So, you know, because if he wasn't as good as he was in college, there would be no hype for him in the NFL. But again, sometimes, you know, you get players that only last a little bit, and you know, they don't, you know, their best days, you know, were already behind them, and their best days were in college. They kind of just hit a ceiling, and then they didn't really get any better than what they were at college, or they did, but they got hurt, and then their careers ended prematurely, kind of like a Bo Jackson. Like if Bo Jackson was able to stay healthy for his whole career, he would probably be celebrated as like the #1 athlete of all time. I mean, we're talking about a guy going to fucking, you know, professional baseball all-star games and then making Pro Bowls in the NFL. Like even Deion Sanders couldn't do that, and we think that he's one of the most supreme athletes. He just wasn't good, as good on the baseball side. He was an average player, but he was not an all-star player. So. Now, Boz is kind of like it's like a cultural phenomenon, you know, here in the States, where it's like, you know, some of us will root for Johnny Football and some of us hate Johnny Football. You know, it all depends on the perspective of the player that you are seeing and the man on and off the field and whatnot. But, you know, there's always going to be like different athletes that are controversial, you know, or the way they look, you know, obviously big old neck roll, you know, big old pads, mohawk. I mean, Boz had the look of being a very intimidating player, and he definitely backed it up. But not everyone's career ends up being Hall of Fame at the end of the day. All right, start of the third period, baby. Yeah, I don't know who had the most joy looking at all those photos of Steve Largent, reflected Megan or me. Yeah, that's what it's about. Seeing something that you haven't seen before, and you know, reading and learning something that you didn't know. I try to learn something new every day, whatever it may be, whatever, even if it's some minuscule stat, you know, or whatever. You know, add it to the, you know, the microchip, add it in there, and you know, it all adds up. They need a big period by the Hughes, okay, Jack and Luke, and Jesper Bratt if they have any chance, because there is probably a good chance that Dawes gives up another goal. So they better get something going here within the first 5 minutes of OT. Otherwise, Uncle Mo might be in Washington. Smart guy. It's always interesting to see people that end up being like professional wrestlers and then they go into politics, or you get a football player or basketball player that goes down that road. I was reading an article about a Disney star that's now like a CEO of running a space group. You know, some of you guys probably watched her, you know, growing up on some of the shows. I didn't read the extent of the full article, but it shows you, you know, you could end up being a Disney star and an actress, and then all of a sudden turning that into, you know, trying to do something not necessarily exactly related to like what NASA is incorporating, but to do with the space program and to do with space. I think that's pretty cool. You know, it shows you there is no boundaries and limits as long as you apply yourself and try. You know, it always helps if you know people, but ultimately, you know, if you're, you know, you have the passion, you know, and you don't give up, you know, you can make things happen that, you know, people would say that will never happen. I'm living proof. And I'm nowhere near the end of the finish line. But we are honing in on 4 million views. It's still going to take us a while to get there, you know, unless somehow we go viral or we get a couple really big videos or streams and we hit an algorithm or something. But I think that I think we're like 80,000 views, 80,000, something like that, you know, but we're getting closer and closer. It's kind of dwindling away. But just a little while back, it was 100,000. So I think it's like less than 80,000 and then we'll hit the 4 million view mark. We'll do some kind of giveaway once we hit the 4 million view mark for sure. All right, less than 18 minutes left in the third period. 2-1 Caps. Come on, Devils. All right, Caps logo has gotten plenty of love. Now we need this to be tied up to get interesting. I want a back and forth. I want it 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3. I want that excitement. And then if it goes to overtime, shootout. Shootout. Oh, I'll get you some photos, bro. But I always got to cater to the people that donate. They get first dibs. Now, if Matt Payton starts donating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Then Matt Payton gets way more photos. I'm not saying you're going to get 50 Taylor Swift photos, but down the road when you get a job and you get comfortable, and then if that becomes you, then you're going to be able to have yourself a little photo train yourself. But I'll still throw photos up for you even if you don't donate or can't donate because you're my brother. But they won't all be Taylor. Sorry, bro. I can't have that like streaming like all over my. I will take care of everyone on the channel, but there has to be limits. 1 turns into 5, 5 turns into 10, 10 turns into 1 hour. 2-1 Caps. Any new information on film from you and your son or anyone in the family or any articles or things that you've read reflect on the Hawks and what you're looking at, like what you personally want, not what the coaches or the other fans want, but what you want, for the draft. I know you've already been dropping names already almost on every stream. I was telling Megan earlier, I ended up reading some deep diving articles, and 3 of the starting 5 have expiring contracts or they may or may not be there. So if that's the case and the O-line really wasn't very good, right, you're going to have to really focus on that, not just in free agency for at least one offensive lineman in free agency, but you may have to try to plug away 1 or 2 draft picks on the line. Otherwise, if you neglect it and you go for like the, put the booties in the seats, Brock Bowers pick, the offensive line is going to be terrible, and they're not even going to have time to get Bowers the ball for him to look like a Pro Bowl guy. Oh, baby. Uh-oh. 3-1 Caps. Uh-oh. Dawes. He's like, I need help from the Hugheses. Can I get some help? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. But 3 of them, I mean, and obviously everyone can be upgraded and, you can get better players. But it's like if you got 3 guys out of the 5 that may or may not be there, or you're really looking to improve that position dramatically, you're not going to want to ignore that. D-line is going to be very, very important in my opinion as well. For me, when I look at the team, O-line, D-line, secondary, linebackers, so it's pretty much the whole defense and the O-line, that gets priority over tight end. Like the Brock Bowers things is like a sexy pick, but it's not the smart pick. The smart pick is to build the greatness within the inside out, unless there's some special, corner or safety that you feel really good about over a D lineman or an O lineman. But I mean, if Jackson Powers ends up on the Hawks, man, I mean, and then he ends up being like all pro right away, and he ends up being a Hall of Fame center, that could be the difference between getting to the NFC Championship game sooner than later based off a couple guys like him. And I really do think he's going to be a monster in the NFL. Well, Bowers has a talent to be picked in the top 8 picks, but again, there's so many quarterback moves, and the quarterback class is so deep, and there is some amazing offensive linemen that are in this draft. And and some star players, like Marv, so at wide receiver and many other wide receivers. So I think that Bowers, he may or may not be there somewhere between 10 and 18. But the thing is, it all depends on do you really need that player? Is tight end your number one priority? And if it is, then take him. But if it's not, I wouldn't, because I think Jackson Powers has I think Bowers in the right system could be the next Sam Laporta. But if Bowers gets picked by a bad team with a bad coach or a bad OC or a bad system, he could end up being Kyle Pitts, where it's like the guy is good, but they don't give him the ball, so it's like a wasted pick. So if I'm the Hawks, you could get guards and you can get tackles, but are you going to get like the best? Right? If you get Jackson Powers somewhere between 10 and 20, you're going to get not only the best center, but you could argue, maybe one of the top 5 centers immediately in the NFL as soon as he goes to whatever team he goes to, like Penei Sewell status, so. I mean, that's kind of exciting to figure, like, oh, you draft this guy, there is a good chance they become All-Pro, Pro Bowl, Hall of Fame. That's when you need to draft a guy. If you're not thinking that, then maybe the guy, oh, he might be a good player. Oh, maybe he'll be a Pro Bowl, All-Pro guy. But essentially, when you draft guys in the first round, you're looking for a Hall of Fame player, right? That's exactly what, if you end up getting a guy that's a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro, that's kind of a failure. If there's a guy that you missed in the draft that turned into a Hall of Fame and you had a chance on getting him, But again, everyone's career is going to be judged and, done differently. But, I mean, center isn't necessarily sexy, but if it ends up being the quarterback of the offense besides the quarterback on the offense and the middle linebacker, yeah, I mean, having a good center definitely helps great NFL teams and great college teams. You think Bo Nix would be as good as he was if he didn't have the best center in fucking college football blocking for him? Hell no. We had other offensive linemen that were good, but not as good as him. So always make sure to realize, the Bo Nix love, Jackson Powers is a big part of it too, as well as the coaching with Dan Lanning and the other offensive linemen that were beast mode for the Ducks. But even though, with that being said, we didn't beat the Huskies, so, maybe not necessarily all of the offensive line's fault for Oregon, maybe more on the defensive line's fault, but, tit for tat. But the Huskies were the best team, and that's what you have to realize, as a fan. It's not going to be your year every year. You're going to have heartbreak before you have that success, Less than 12 minutes to go in the third period, 3-1 Caps. I have to go and look to see every team's need at center, which is like quite a few. I mean, you could pretty much put, Jackson Powers probably on 25 of the 32 instantly and be like, or maybe even higher number than that, and be like, okay, this guy could definitely start over this guy. So. You know who it would benefit the most, though? There's one team that it would benefit the most out of any team in the entire NFL. Jackson Powers, right? Jackson Powers Johnson. 2, Seattle, I feel, is a top 5 destination, but a destination that would be better, I feel, for the team and the team need and what they're trying to do would be with the Chargers and with Herbert. Because if Herbert could actually, have someone to do that for him with Rashawn Slater, with Harbaugh, that would be, I feel like, one of the perfect fits. If he went there, that it could actually work. And then if you end up bringing a player like that, maybe they can turn the injury curse off, at least on the offensive side. And that's the type of guy, it would be a Harbaugh kind of fit and player. I think it would mesh well, and it would bring out the best in Herbert, and then the rest of the running backs and wide receivers like Keenan Allen and Eckler. So I feel that would be, but I'm not sure if that is something that they're looking at. But Seattle, I think, would be a top 5 look as well, but I don't really know where he would go. I have to look at the rest of the teams and the needs. I mean, if Jackson Powers got drafted by, if I end up getting Jackson Powers or Michael Penix Jr. or Bo Nix, I will be pretty fucking happy. But really, like the Michael Penix Jr. thing only will happen as if we don't sign Baker. So if they don't give Baker the money, we're going for, Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback that's like fourth or fifth in the draft. And I'm fine with that because those guys might end up being just as good as the top three off the board with Caleb Williams, Drake May, and, Jalen Daniels. It's very possible that if Nix and Penix Jr. go to better teams, that they might end up having better careers than those other three. It's possible. And it's also possible that the first three end up being great. So, we kind of have to wait and see, based off team fit. But, we will see where, players go. Yeah. But as you know, just because a mock draft has someone there and they're copying off each other, right, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they're going to do. And on top of that, it's not Pete Carroll. Now you got, McDonald and his, coaching staff, bringing something new. So it'll be very interesting to see how they implement players, how they draft players, what kind of free agents they bring in compared to what Pete did. So you're going to be able to see, is it going to be similar? Is it going to be the complete opposite? Is it different but similar? So I'm very interested to see on how they evaluate players and who they have in the war room and what decisions they make. And I wish the best for every team in the NFL to hit on their picks. But sometimes, as you know, not every pick ends up turning out the way that we want as fans or as players. So we will see. We will see. Sometimes when people do the mocks too, it's just based off one person that believes it, and then the others copy it. And then it's also just like hope that, oh my gosh, I hope this really does happen, But there's a chance that he might not even be there at that number. There's a chance that he gets drafted higher than that, and that is, most centers don't even go in the first round, let alone, could be like a top 14, top 12 pick. But again, it all depends on, who the coach is and if they see value and if they believe that he's going to be a Hall of Fame center and you have a choice to pick him at 12 or 14 or 16. And if you pass on him, he's gone and someone else may have a Hall of Famer. That's when you pull the trigger. Wow. Another goal? 4-1 Caps. What the hell's going on here? Uh-oh. It's a cap kind of day. No cap. All the caps. I like players with flexibility too. The guys that can play left guard, right guard, left tackle, right tackle. And sometimes you get guys that in high school or college, if they have to, as an emergency, they can like do center or guard. I like that because you never know, when that might come in handy. And if your coach knows that and they've, recruited you and picked you for that reason, not only do you get a player that's good on one spot, you also have emergency and flexibility, knowing that they can also fill in for someone else if there's a devastating season-ending injury. People don't realize how big that is in drafting. It's either you recognize that or you don't. But again, not everyone can, play two positions. Not every offensive lineman can pull with efficiency. So I look for guys that do that too. If I get a center or a guard that can pull, that's going to give me a hell of a lot more value than a guy that can't. Because you're going to get way more big explosive runs for your running back if you got a guard or center that can run and that can just like unload on fucking linemen or linebackers. The little subtleties in the game. 4-1 Caps. Nothing subtle about that. All right. Thank you so much for all your support. Naruto, you fucking lost, bro. I'm sorry. That sucks. It was just like the first off game I've seen the Devils play in a minute. And all road teams won. Washington won in New Jersey, 6-4, 4-2. And then obviously the Devils ended up getting the first one, but I'm not sure if you're going to get 3 goals in 10 minutes. Love you too. Appreciate you. You have a good one. Take care. Appreciate you and your greatness. We got to see a lot of cool photos today. That's when look at Wayne Gretzky. All-time NHL goal leaders. Wayne Gretzky, 894. Ovechkin's at 837, who can end up passing Wayne Gretzky. Unbelievable. And Gordie Howe, 801. And Gordie played until he was like 99. Not really, but it felt like it. Anytime a hockey player plays over 40, and they hit like 50 or 60 and you end up being like crazy and you just love it and you're good. Gordie Howe. But that's wild that Ovechkin has a chance to actually beat Wayne Gretzky all time if he plays long enough. It's fucking incredible. Yeah. Everyone has their opinion, but it all depends. How often are you hitting on your predictions? How consistent are you at fantasy football every year? Like, how consistent are you on predictions and looking at evaluating talent? Because that's the thing, man. Like for me, it's like one of my favorite things to do, and I know you're kind of similar to Reflect, but being able to analyze and to predict talent before they become great. Not everyone can see that at the light at the end of the tunnel before everyone else. But then on the flip side, all credibility went down the shitter, Will Levis. Just like our Will Levis guy, right? Like in the right system, could he be better than what he is now? In Tennessee, yeah. But is he going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback in his career? Fuck no. Like, it's hard to play that position. So, yeah, if his predictions are off and his evaluations are off, then you're not credible. That's why I take a lot of pride in my predictions and in what I say and my ESP that just kind of comes to me. So it's not necessarily predetermined when the ESP shit happens. It's just like I say something or I get a message and then I just say it out loud and then shit happens or our predictions come true. But we're not going to be right all the time. But I do feel that we tend to lean more heavier on it does come true rather than it doesn't. So, I mean, I feel like 90% of the time, we're pretty locked and loaded as a group, either me or everyone in the room. So, or a majority. But again, if I wasn't watching full games and I wasn't reading article after article, and if I wasn't following like every goddamn team and every goddamn wrestler on planet Earth, then yeah, I would be a dumbass. I wouldn't know anything. So, it takes a lot of effort. But again, if you're a fanatic, it becomes second nature to you. So, yeah, sounds like he's not the brightest. All right, bro. 4-1 Caps. Damn it. I gave Odin the comment, nice comeback when it was 1-1. Now it's 4-1. Yeah. But I feel like you and your son, you guys are probably a little bit more locked and loaded and more right most of the time than wrong. Everyone's going to have wrong. Everyone's sometimes going to make a wrong, choice or a wrong prediction. But again, if you're elite at fantasy football, it says a lot about knowing talent, and consistency, and looking for gray areas, with players, and going deeper than the average person would, and that's why I think you and me vibe because I think you're the closest thing, to me on that fantasy level because I'm going to put in more work than anyone on planet Earth based on getting new players every week. No one will beat me at that and then it's just going to come down to, it takes skill to get to the playoffs and then luck to end up winning the championship. Because sometimes, they'll rest players and you just get screwed, right? Or you make the wrong decisions. Less than 8 minutes to go in the third period, 4-1 Caps. Any photos you want to see, let me know. Let's throw a couple photos up here for Matt before he let me find a couple Bo Nicks here to hold him over. See, and for me too, it's like I've been watching since like '85. So it's like if you're gonna get someone that is an occasional watcher, and then plus me doing this as a job, and I've been like on this grind mode for like 12 years. So you can only imagine the amount of games that I've watched, not only while I'm working, but when I'm not working. It's like, everything that I thought as being a fanatic, and then you up it a couple more notches. I mean, anyone that can win a fantasy championship, obviously it's more than just getting lucky. All right, one more for him. Less than 7 minutes to go. 4-1 Caps. Bo Nix. Is that a good stat line? 27 for 32, 290, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. I'm going to miss these two. You know what they were? Electric. Come on, Devils. 4-1. Fuck, 5-1. Jeez. Damn. Throw the white flag. 5-1. Uh-oh. Yeah. But you know what? I purposely, made 3 moves that I normally don't make. And if I just, keep, 2 of those moves the same, if I just would have made one of the 3 instead of changing those 3 things, but also too, I already told myself going in, either I'm going to win it with Baker and Mike Evans or I'm not. And it's like I'm either going to go, but instead of just being smart and just saying, well, I guess I'm going to win it with Mullins and I'm not going to have Evans or Baker. But I didn't think that they wouldn't get at least a touchdown and then and play the Panthers and it'd be like 9-0 game. Like literally everything that needed to happen for you to win, it happened. But I'm actually kind of happy it did, because like I want to be able to push people to the limit, in the league, and to like it's not just me you got to worry about. It's like to show people like how hard you have to be able to be at it if you want to be able to win in this league. And I actually would prefer that I know I'm going to get mine. I'm going to get mine sooner or later. It's going to happen. So, all right, man, you have a good one. Appreciate you. Yeah, you the man. You the man. It's always a pleasure to have people, that can have a good, like, non-biased perspective. Of course, we're gonna love all our favorite players in our teams, but when you can start evaluating talent from every player in the league, and there's no bias whatsoever, just talent, straight pure talent, and being able to, grade people that way, then you start getting people that really understand the game on a different level. That's reflect. Yeah, but you want it, man. I pushed everyone to the limits. I'm not going to lose that many games, and I'm going to make the most moves. You know, I'm coming for the jugular on every. I'm not trying to just win by 1. I'm trying to win by fucking 60 or higher if I can. 100. I mean, like it's like all that hard work, all those times waking up at 2:30 in the morning to grab people on the wire. I want to make sure that shit ends up being worth it instead of me sleeping. You put in the hard work, you get the good results at the end. I just take it to an extreme level as a fanatic. All right, less than 5 minutes to go for this nightmare to end for Aiden and Odin. But it was kind of shitty. I wasn't able to use like Joe Flacco. I was banking on using Joe Flacco at the end, and I'm like, fuck, no Joe Flacco. I was like, after you have like Mahomes and you can't trust them, and I had like Sam Howell, I was like, oh God, like what am I gonna do? So it's like when you get to a point when you're in the championship, sometimes you think, oh, everything is gonna be great. I'm gonna get to use all my guys, and then all of a sudden, like half of your roster of your, all-star roster that you need to be able to win, you don't even have access to them. So definitely takes the strategy level and fantasy on a whole nother level when it's that way. Yeah, you are too, man. Islanders and Penguins 4-4. This game is going to be over in about 4. Caps up by 4. Gosh, Mariners pretty soon, Reflect. I'm excited even about the preseason, so I geek out and nerd out any on IG or Twitter X post that the Mariners put out. Oh yeah, there we go, 5-2. Let's go, let's go, 5-2. Now the bleeding, it's still terrible, but it's a little bit better now. So Ovechkin got the 4th goal, so I got the Ovechkin goal. Scarbosa, Michael. And then what about this one? Are they going to let it go? Or are they going to, are they reviewing it? 5-2, 5-2, 5-2. Eric Howla, 12th goal this season. Mariners, baby. I'm ready to dress up, call the games. Got to put in that work with the photos. But that's like one thing that I don't mind, like, where I, like doing the starting lineups for the photos, like the way that I present the stream. Like, I like doing it, putting in that extra work. 5-2 Caps. Anyone with a parlay or anyone with the Devils tonight? Tough. Devils fans, tough. Go see what Paisley's doing here real quick. I think he just came out. Give me 1 sec. All right, so I check up on my pup. 5-2. This one's almost over. Wow, first penalty on the game for New Jersey this late. 2:21 left. How are we doing on the likes? Shout out to all the people watching on Twitter/X as well as on YouTube. How close are we getting to the next goal? Are we anywhere near getting? I'm gonna check right now. Where are we at with that? So we need 8 more to get to 20. Maybe we can try to get to 15. If anyone hasn't smashed the like button, please do. We need 3 more to get to 15. That would definitely help if we can't get to 8 to get to 20. Yeah, Paisley. Paisley's doing good. Of course, if you're watching on Twitter/X, you'd have to come to the YouTube channel to smash the like button. You can't do it from the Twitter X page yet. But I'm hoping that once everything gets integrated, that they'll be able to donate from there and comment from there, and it'll just bring up another secondary chat. I can manage to at the same time. So, but we did have a great dono day, starting off by Odin Son and Megan, and then Reflect, and that definitely helped big time. So. All right, baby. All right, so take a look at tomorrow. So tomorrow we're gonna do Bruins and Oilers, and that's at 7 p.m. on TNT. So I know it's kind of late, for people in the Midwest at 9 o'clock or East Coast 10, but that's the best game tomorrow. So that's what we're gonna do. And then Thursday we're gonna do Canucks Kraken at 7. So back-to-back games at 7 p.m. And I may do the Dodgers Padres at noon. I may stream that. I may not. I already know it's a hit or miss with viewership, just because it's going to be the first baseball game, but it's on at like noon. So, and it's the Dodgers and Padres. So, unless you're like incredibly hardcore for both of those teams or baseball, you're not watching that game. But in my case, I am interested. So, we will see. But maybe I'll just watch the game with Paisley and then we'll just do the Kraken stream. So, all right, here we go. Last couple minutes of this matchup 5-2 Caps. Rough matchup for the Devils. Usually when we end up doing Devils streams, we have a lot of people that bet on the Devils that come through. They got a power play here. And we might end up getting 6-2. Yeah, I haven't seen the Devils get roughed up like this. And usually when they do good, you're getting a lot of Jack Hughes, Luke Hughes, and Jesper Bratt. And we haven't really seen any of them do anything today, which is weird. So a little unorthodox, it's like guys, Alexander Holtz and Eric Haula, not the regulars that you would expect to be doing something for the Devils. And in turn, that has led to a 5-2 potential 6-2 loss here tonight. Ovechkin got a goal, though, so at least I got to see that. So, but I wanted the Jack Hughes goal to pair with it. I wanted a back and forth game when it was 1-1, and then 2-1. I wanted the Devils to 2-2 and to kind of keep it going on that level. But Caps just they had the number tonight. Very aggressive. So now the Caps have won 3 out of 4 on the Devils. Damn. I wouldn't have anticipated that. Oh, they're swinging. That connected. There's a couple haymakers that were thrown right there. Especially when a guy is skating up and he's not paying attention, and then the guy comes up and at the very last minute, just like something's going to happen. All of a sudden you're just skating. Your hands are by your waist, and at the very last second, you get close to the guy that was guarding you. Little chippy. And after this, I'll go for a walk with Paisley. Maybe watch a little Deadwood or True Blood. Read, watch some film. All right, less than a minute to go. And the Caps are still in the power play, so there's a probability there might be, unless they just try to play keep away here. And there it is. Ovechkin with the cheap goal at the end. Oh, that sucks. I feel so bad. But that's just like how it is when you have a power play late. Eventually, Ovechkin's going to be Ovechkin, and there's another goal closer on catching up to Wayne Gretzky's all-time number. That's just fucking amazing. A lot of people thought it might be Sidney Crosby that would end up being number 2 all-time. But instead of Sidney Crosby, it's Alexander Ovechkin. Wild. 2 goals for Ovechkin. I'm not sure if that makes up for my Jack Hughes non-goal, but wow. Ovi. He's like old as shit, but he's so good still. Like, I don't know, if he has personal goals to be the number 1 player, but I probably should go grab an Alexander Ovechkin like PSA, 9 or 10 rookie card auto at some point. Because if he ends up breaking that Wayne Gretzky record, then his stuff is going to go up. You got to be able to look ahead, depending on if he breaks that record or not. I mean, Gretzky is always going to be the most valuable and collectible, based off that era. But I know Ovechkin cards would take a big spike if he ends up being number 1 over Gretzky. That's a big deal. Being number 2 all time is a big deal. Being ahead of Bobby Orr is a big fucking deal. Final score 6-2 Caps. Wow. Well, I appreciate all the people on Twitter/X that watch, all the people on YouTube as well. I'm going to go hang out with Paisley and spend some time with her. And again, we'll be doing the Bruins tomorrow. And again, that will be Bruins versus the Oilers at 7 p.m. tomorrow, TNT broadcast, national broadcast. That's what we'll be doing tomorrow. So I appreciate everyone in the room, all the people that donated. Obviously, Odin's son with the 50, Megan with the 2 20s, and then with the $5, and then the Reflect with the $5. We ended up hitting the goal today, so that was awesome. Thank you to those 3 very, very much. Sarah always holding it down, as well as Matt here, Reflect. Who else? Megan, everybody else that's in the room. I appreciate y'all. And again, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very much. And I got one question for you. Who you know talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Okay.